Hello everyone and welcome to this lecture in the GitHub Masterclass. Today we are going to learn about one of the most important features of Git, and that is branches. So when you think of branches, what's the first thing which comes to your mind? Probably a tree comes to your mind, right? And a tree, let's say, has multiple branches. So that's where the word branches, when we think of branches, we always think of this branch. And even such a terminology exists in GitHub also. So there are words like trees and there are words like branches which are very commonly used when people deal with Git and GitHub. So, what exactly are branches and why do we need branches in the first place? Let me give you a simple example. Let's say you are working on a particular code and you have done some work and you have done the first commit, you have done the second commit, and you are confident of these commits, so you have pushed the changes to the main branch. Now, let's say you want to work on some experimental feature, or let's say you want to assign someone else on your team to work on that experimental feature. Now, since that work is experimental, you don't want to be working on the main branch. You want to create a copy of the code, and at the same time, you don't want to make the changes in that copy to be visible in the main code. So, in other words, you want an independent version or an independent copy of the main code, and you would want to work on it separately since it's experimental. You can almost think of it as a parallel universe where something new is going on, some other changes or some other features are developed. So what I'm showing on with the red is the main branch right now, where you have made some commits. But the experimental commits or the experimental changes, let's say you assign it to another developer who is working on this other branch. So what I'm showing on the screen right now is another branch. So this is the branch, or this is that copy of the main repository where that other developer is working on, and he or she, let's say, work on new features, commit 3, they make commit 4, but these commits which they make, these commits don't affect the main code. So now the terminology master is not used, it should be replaced with main. So these commit 3 and commit 4 which has been made by the developer on this experimental branch, that should not affect the main code, and that's why branches are needed. So let's say two developers are working on two features, or 10 developers are working on 10 different things. Each of these developers can work in separate branches. So here what I've showed here is that developer 1 is working on this main branch and developer 2 is working on the second branch. There can be many more branches like these on which other developers can work on separately without affecting the main code. And then what happens is that, let's say if you really like the work of developer 1, then at some later point you can merge these two branches, which means that the changes which were made in this branch, they are reflected into the main branch. So when the changes in the branch are approved by the main developer, the changes are merged in the main code. And only when the changes are approved and merged, that's when the main code file changes. Until that point, the changes are only on the branch, they are not on the main code file. So because of branches, developer 1 and developer 2 can continue to work independently without waiting for each other. So developer 2 does not have to wait for developer 1. So developer 2 can continue working on independently without affecting the main code. And then developer 2 can then tell developer 1 that, hey, I have implemented all of these changes in the new feature. Can you review the changes which I have implemented? And if you like those changes, you can merge it with the main code. That's where the merging process actually comes into the picture later on. So Git and GitHub always uses these terminologies like branch, tree, etc., but they have a specific meaning. The way I like to think about branches is that it's like you almost create alternate realities where different versions of the code coexist. There is only one reality where the main branch is, or the way where the main code exists. All the other realities are where alternate versions of the code exist, and they are useful for different feature testing if different people are working on different aspects of the code, etc. And you will see branches on famous GitHub repositories as well. Julia GitHub. So this is the GitHub repository for the Julia language, and here you can see that there are all of these here are the different branches which are created. So there is one branch which is the main branch, and all of these others which I'm showing on this, I'm scrolling down, all of these are the different branches which are created. There are around 1000 2000 branches, maybe even more over here. So 2000 branches can coexist together where multiple developers are working on their own changes. look at the number of contributors on the Julia programming language code, around 1500 contributors, and many of them create their own branches and work on their own branches without affecting the main code. That's the main purpose of branches. Now, what we can do is that we can create branches on our own Git repositories, and then we will make some changes in that branch, and we will push the changes from the local repository to the remote repository. So let's go ahead and do that. Before doing that, we there are some commands which we need to familiarize ourselves with. The first command is called as git branch. So this checks which branch we are on currently. So let me go to the VS Code terminal right now. Let me clear the repo, and I'm going to type over here. So we are in this local repo folder which we created in the previous lecture, and I'm going to type here git branch. So when I type git branch, you can see that let me clear this again and show git branch. When I type git branch, you'll see that I'm on the main branch over here. See, that's being highlighted by the green color. So git branch lets you know which branch you are on, and there is only one branch currently in my repository, and that's only one branch is shown over here. Okay, now there are some other commands, such as if you want to rename this branch. So let's say if you want to rename the main branch to something else, then you can type git branch minus m and then the new name which you want to give. But we are not going to do that right now because the convention is just to keep the main branch named as main. But just keep this command in mind. This might be useful later if you want to rename your branch. If your collaborator has a branch name which is similar to yours, to avoid any confusion, it might be useful to rename branches as well. Then what we can do is that we can use this git checkout command to navigate to a different branch. So let's say if you have three branches, you are on main branch currently. If you want to navigate to another branch, you can use the git checkout and the name of the new branch. However, we have not even created a new branch yet. So let us actually create a new branch with this command git checkout minus b and the new branch name. So what I'm going to do right now is that I'm going to do git checkout minus b, and I'm going to name the my new branch as feature 1. So here I'm creating a new branch, and the name of that branch is feature 1, and then I'm going to press enter. So here you can see we have switched to a new branch called feature 1. And let me clear and let me again type git branch. So when we type git branch, you can see that we are on the branch named feature 1 right now, right? And there are two branches over here. Now we can use the git checkout. So if I do git checkout main, so we switch the branch to main. So let's see git branch. Now we are on the main branch. Let's check out again to feature 1. Now we are on the feature 1 branch, and we can check that using git branch. See, we are on the feature 1 branch right now. We can also create one more branch. So let's do git checkout minus b feature 2. So this is another branch which is created, and if you type git branch right now, you'll see that we are on feature 2 branch. Now let's say I created this feature 2 branch by accident, and I want to delete this new branch. So the way to delete this branch is that since we are already on feature 2, we cannot delete the feature 2 branch, and you can try this out. So if you type in this command git delete git branch minus d, so if I type branch git branch minus d, and if I type feature 2, you will see that there is an error. We cannot delete feature 2 branch because we are already on that branch. So first we need to check out to another branch. So let me check out to feature 1 branch. So I'm on feature 1 right now, and now let me try deleting the feature 2. Git branch minus d feature 2. So here you can see now the feature 2 branch is deleted. So let me clear the terminal and type git branch again. So here you can see that feature 2 branch is deleted now. Only two branches are there, feature 1 and main, and we are currently present on the branch named feature 1. Okay. Now what we can do is that we can actually make some changes in this feature 1 branch, and let us push these changes to this branch and make them reflect on the GitHub repository in our remote. So I'm going to actually just add a paragraph here in this index.html, and I'm going to say added feature 1. Okay, so added feature 1, that's the change which I have made. So see, this is the change. I've added feature 1 over here. Now let me add the files here. So git add dot. So here you can see now, and let us do git status. So we can see that we are on branch 1 currently, and the changes, so index.html has been modified, but it has not yet been committed. So it has been added to the staging area, but it is not yet committed. So let's commit by saying that, actually let me clear the terminal so that you can easily see the command. So let me type git commit -m, and then I'm going to type a message. So added feature 1, added feature 1. Um, Oops, I think I accidentally used a quotation here. So let me actually clear this terminal. So if you enter this quotation, one way to resolve this is actually open another integrated terminal, and then you can type in the git commit message again. So first type git status. You can see that the files are yet to be committed, right? So let me do git commit -m, and instead of using two quotations, that's the mistake I did earlier, you have to use only a single quotation, git feature 1, and then you enter. So now you can see that the file has been committed, but it has not yet been pushed. So the last thing which we have to do is that we have to push changes from our local to the remote. But first I want to show you one thing. Let's say we check out to main, git checkout main. If you check out to main, you see this new added thing is deleted right now. This is pretty cool, right? On my laptop itself, there are two versions of this code which are coexisting. One on the main branch, which does not have this added code, and now if I change to the feature 1 branch, git checkout feature 1, and one on the feature 1 branch where this added code is there. That's pretty cool, I think. And we can create hundreds of branches like this which can coexist on our local laptop or computer. Okay, so now this branch has been created and we have even committed. So let me clear this terminal right now and let's push changes. So then you have to do git push origin, and instead of main, now we are pushing the changes to the branch called feature 1, right? So we have to type git push origin and feature 1. Let's check whether this is correct. So we did git add, this part is done. We have done git commit, and then we have to use git push origin and the branch name as I've indicated over here. That is very important. So let us press enter over here right now, and we have to provide permissions as always. And now you can see that we have indeed pushed the changes from our local to the remote. There is some command which is appearing here, such as create a pull request for feature 1 on GitHub. I'll explain what that means, but for now you can see that if you get a message like this, it means the changes have been successfully pushed. Now let us go to our remote repository and see whether the changes have been pushed. So now here you can see that a branch called feature 1 has been created. So if I go to the feature 1 branch right now, you will see that we have added the feature 1. And here if you go to index.html, you will see that this is my website and added feature 1. So the changes have been added over here. And that's pretty awesome. And you can even do some other things, such as this branch is one commit, this branch is one commit ahead of main. So if you click on this, you will see that you'll see the changes. So you'll see that this is my website was the original code in the main branch, and now you have added this code, added feature 1. And you can even see when you made this commit, added feature 1. Now if you switch back to the main branch, you will see that these changes have been deleted in the index.html. In the index.html, there is just one line, this is my website. And if you switch to the branch named feature 1, you will see that the index.html file is now different because you have this added command over here, or this added line which is added feature 1. So if you click on this one commit ahead of main, what this means is that our main branch is behind our feature 1 branch. That means that in the feature 1 branch we have made some changes, and you can click on this. Actually, when you click on this, you will see that there is something which is called as create pull request. We'll come to this a bit later, but this is very important. If now the changes which are made in the branch, there is an option if we want to bring those changes to the main. If the changes are approved, if the changes are good, then we need to merge the changes in feature 1 with the main branch. And here you can see that it's written able to merge. In the next lecture, what we are going to see is that we are going to look at merging. and what is merging and why do we need to do merging. We'll also see two ways of doing merging. We'll do it from the terminal, and we can also do it from GitHub by creating this pull request like this. So I hope you liked this lecture and you learned about branches. When I learned about this concept for the first time, I was pretty amazed by it and I thought it was pretty cool. This is one of the best features of GitHub, which allows people to work on different versions of the code simultaneously without affecting the main version. And then if some version is good, then it can be merged with the main version, which we are going to look in the next lecture. So thank you so much everyone, and I look forward to seeing you in the next lecture.